As the final hours of the Second World War drew to a close, the skies over Europe remained restless. Amid the crumbling remnants of the Third Reich, one of Germany's most celebrated pilots, Colonel Hans-Ulrich Rudel, made his last flight, not as an aggressor, but as a man seeking surrender. On the 8th of May 1945, at the Kitzingen airfield in Bavaria, Rudel, along with his remaining flight squadron, landed and officially surrendered to the advancing US forces. The moment signified not just the end of one man's remarkable wartime career, but the final collapse of Germany's once feared Luftwaffe. Hans-Ulrich Rudel was no ordinary pilot. As the most decorated German serviceman of World War II, he had flown over 2,500 combat missions, destroying over 500 Soviet tanks, 2,000 ground targets, a Soviet battleship, and 2 cruisers. He was so successful against the Soviet forces that Joseph Stalin personally put up a 100,000 ruble bounty on his head. His legendary prowess at the control of the Junkers Ju-87G Stuka made him the most feared ground attack pilot on the Eastern Front. With the G variant, the aging airframe of the Junkers Ju-87 found new life as an anti-tank aircraft. This was the final operational version of the dive bomber. 2 37mm cannons were mounted in underwing gun pods, each loaded with 2 6-round magazines of armor-piercing ammunition. With these weapons, the Kanonenvogel, or cannon bird as it was nicknamed, proved very successful in the hands of aces such as Rudel. Rudel himself was shot down 32 times during World War II, according to him always only by anti-aircraft artillery, and was seriously wounded several times. During the battles over the Oder River, a 40mm anti-aircraft shell tore off his right leg, but he continued to fly even after the amputation of his leg below the knee, demonstrating an almost inhuman resilience that earned him admiration and notoriety alike. He was the only recipient of Germany's highest military award, the Knight's Cross with golden oak leaves, swords, and diamonds, a testament to both his skill and the desperation of the Nazi leadership in the war's final stages. Love diving deeper into military history? This video is supported by my YouTube members who get exclusive videos weekly, not available anywhere else for their kind support. You can join their ranks easily. Just hit the join button now to get the exclusive videos and much more. Thank you for supporting me. I couldn't be doing it without your help. If you want to know more about Germany's Panzer tactics, check out my ebook in the description. As the war in Europe approached its final days, Rudel and his unit, the Schlachtgeschwader or Dive Bomber Wing 2, found themselves stationed in Bohemia, near what is now the Czech Republic. The Soviet forces were advancing rapidly, and for Rudel, whose name was infamous among the Red Army, capture by Stalin forces would have likely meant execution. Colonel Rudel's Schlachtgeschwader II had continued to support German ground forces in the east until the final days of the war, but with the hostilities to cease in May of 1945 and facing capture by the Red Army, Rudel and his unit decided to try to reach the west. The headquarters and the second group of the dive bomber WW2 were based at Kummer in northern Bohemia. The first group was in Austria, and the third group was near Prague. The first and third group both escaped westwards. Although the headquarters and the second group had few serviceable aircraft, it was decided to fly as many men out as possible, while a vehicle convoy would try to reach the west with the rest of the unit's personnel. But this was in the future, when Rudel led his 3 Junkers Ju-87s and 4 Focke-Wulf 190s westward in the afternoon of the 8th of May. The unit made radio contact with the US 19th Tactical Air Command and was directed to the airfield at Kitzingen. Allied anti-aircraft defenses were made aware of the approach of the aircraft. During the 2-hour flight, the Schlachtgeschwader II had encountered Soviet aircraft but had escaped unharmed and arrived at Kitzingen late in the afternoon. After circling the airfield, the 7 German aircraft landed to surrender, quickly being surrounded by their excited captors. A total of 7 aircraft landed, and they carried 6 officers, 6 NCOs, and 1 female. Upon surrender, Rudel and his men were taken into custody by the US military. The American forces, well aware of Rudel's reputation, immediately interrogated him. Despite his unwavering allegiance to Nazi ideology, he was treated as a high-profile prisoner of war. Given the extent of his injuries, Rudel was soon transferred to a military hospital where he remained for 11 months recovering from his injuries. Unlike many of his Luftwaffe comrades who faced trial for war crimes, Rudel's combat role did not involve direct crimes against humanity. As a result, after his recovery, he was released and eventually emigrated to Argentina in 1948, where he became a controversial figure in post-war circles. Hans-Ulrich Rudel's surrender at Kitzingen remains a pivotal moment in aviation history, marking the end of the Luftwaffe's dominance and the final chapter of Germany's air war. While his military record is unparalleled, his post-war life was fraught with controversy, as he remained unrepentant about his past and maintained close ties with former Nazi officers. Today, historians continue to debate Rudel's legacy. Was he simply an extraordinary soldier following orders, or was his unwavering loyalty to Hitler a stain on his record? Regardless, his skill as a pilot and his determination in battle are undeniable. The surrender at Kitzingen was not just the landing of an aircraft, it was the final act of one of the war's most formidable aviators. As the sun set on the 8th of May 1945, Germany lay in ruins, and the war had officially ended in Europe. For Rudel, the war was over, but the echoes of his exploits would remain part of history forever. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to support my channel, check out the PayPal donation link in the description, or consider becoming a member. To make sure you don't miss my future work, subscribe to my channel please and press the bell notification button. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.